What is going on, YouTube? In this video, I am going to be ranking all the Michael Myers masks from all the feature films. Now, this video is a request from one of you viewers out there, and forgive me because I can't remember your name offhand, but you know who you are. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on movie makeup and masks and props and all that sort of stuff. I mean, hell, I'm not even an expert on movies in general, so I am going to do the best job I can in ranking these masks based on really nothing more than my own personal preference. So don't look for any sort of long-winded explanations on why a mask is at a certain spot or why one is above the other, because like I said, there's not much I could really say or elaborate on other than it's just my own personal taste. So without further ado, let's get this ranking going. Coming in at number 11 is every single stupid mask from Halloween H2O. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The mask, or masks because there's multiple, in Halloween H2O blows fat nuts.
Fucking thing sucks!
Yes, Bill, it does indeed suck. It sucks so hard that even the filmmakers couldn't decide which ones sucked the least, so they made 4 different ones. But I'm going to specifically spotlight the 3 used the most: Clay Aiken, CGI, and Constipation Face. All 3 are terrible, especially Clay Aiken with the Peyton Manning 5 head. Plus you see Michael's eyes, and most of the times he has a stupid deer in headlights expression like he just shit his pants. Which leads me to Constipation Face. It's not nearly as bad in my opinion, but that's not saying much. That's like comparing 2 turds and saying one is less stinky than the other. And it looks like a Michael Myers mask that you'd buy off Wish. But the CGI one, for f***'s sake, it's like they didn't even try. And the less said about this abomination, the better. There is a lot of things that H2O fails at in terms of a Halloween movie, but quite frankly, number 1 on that list is the butchery of the Michael Myers mask, because it is just a flat out joke. Coming in the second to last suck spot at number 10 is Halloween Resurrection. Here's a mask that's probably equally as bad as the ones from H2O, but hey, at least there's only one of them. No, Busta, you don't count with your mask, you son of a bitch, you. I will say this, the mask in Resurrection sorta gets a little closer to that classic Myers look, more so than H2O did. However, it looks too overly produced, like it was bought straight out of a Spencer's Gifts before they started filming. I know it's a bit paradoxical, considering the original mask was obtained the very same way in 1978, but here it looks too fake. And it looks like the shadows were permanently painted on instead of letting the lighting do the work that it's supposed to do. And again, much like H2O, it also commits the cardinal sin of clearly being able to see Myers' eyes. All in all, it just looks like somebody trying too hard to make a Michael Myers mask. And yeah, it still looks like B. Arthur. Well, that takes care of the masks that I believe are straight up trash, because from here on out, I kind of like all the masks, but they're just ordered in terms of preference. Coming in at number 9 is the mask from Halloween 4. Now, the mask from part 4 isn't a terrible mask, all things considered, but it sits down here at the bottom because of 2 colossal blunders, and starting off with blunder number 1. When they ordered the masks during pre-production, they f***ed up on the color and all the masks were pink with blonde hair. So in order to fix that mistake, they had to paint the shit out of these masks and the hair. Now, supposedly the masks were Shatner masks, but due to all that painting and repainting, it f***ed up the look of the mask. Blunder number 2 is actually letting one of those f***ed up masks into the film. Like, how? How do you let that happen if you know the mask is incorrect from the jump? Way to be asleep at the wheel there, Dwight. And for a movie that is so well made, I am shocked that these things happened. A screwed up mask is one thing, but to carry on as if no one would notice and not actually go back and reshoot that one scene is just... It just makes my head hurt. Coming in at number 8 is the mask from Halloween 5. I know I said in my Michael Myers video that I made like almost 3 years ago now that this mask just straight up sucks. I may have been a bit too harsh on it, so I'm gonna walk that statement back a little bit. You know, this mask isn't terrible. It definitely looks pretty good and creepy in certain scenes, but that doesn't mean that it's a great mask. It's oddly sculpted and has this weird pointy like witch's nose to it. Now, it is well known to fans that the mold for the mask was sculpted off of Greg Nicotero's face, who was the special effects artist for the movie. But again, how hard is it to get a Shatner mask? If Halloween 4 could get them, supposedly, then surely they could have done the same, considering the quick turnaround between Halloween 4 and this one was less than a year. You know, I don't know for sure where that screw up came from, but I'm gonna blame this guy. It's an odd looking mask for sure, but it's not terrible, but it's certainly not among the best of the franchise. Coming in at number 7 is the Hobo Myers mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm not a real fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but I do love the style of the movie, and especially the look of Hobo Myers and Hobo Myers' kind of mask thing going on. Starting at the beginning during the dream sequence, I love the bloodstains and the bullet wound look as Michael just goes absolutely apeshit on the entire hospital staff. But what I love even more is as the film goes on, it just gets more and more tattered and destroyed. So that way by the end you get this like half masked look so you can actually see Myers' face. Typically, that's a big no-no for me in terms of Halloween. You're not supposed to see Myers or hear him talk, but Rob Zombie already took the piss out of him with his last movie, so at this point, you're kind of just rolling with it. It's definitely a polarizing look to go along with a polarizing film. And while I have my misgivings about the film as a whole, I love the decision to shake up the look of Michael, especially with the mask, and give us a little something different. Coming in at number 6 is the mask from Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie. Rob Zombie with this movie brought the Myers mask back from the brink of hell after the 2 shit ones we got with H2O and Resurrection. And while not a perfect mask in my opinion, as it too falls victim of the old Peyton Manning 5-head, I love its decayed form in the second half of the movie. It's a similar style later borrowed by Halloween 2018, and it just gives an extra dimension to the mask itself. But what I love most about it is that in different scenes, and depending on the lighting, it looks like the mask actually changes expression. Like here, it looks super pissed, while as here, it looks like it's kind of smiling. Whether happenstance or intentional, I find it pretty damn cool. Plus, I do like the extra emphasis Rob put on the mask by making it a symbol of Michael's rage, and him having a psychological attachment to it. Again, something borrowed later on again by Halloween 2018. So maybe Rob isn't the hack writer I accused him of being? Coming in at number 5 is the mask from Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. In my opinion, this is an underrated entry to go with an underrated mask. The mask in Curse is pretty damn scary. I especially love the look of it in scenes when he's playing tag with Jamie in the beginning, asking the mom a question about the laundry, and reenacting the Undertaker's wrestling entrance.
Palmer, commanding the spirit of the Undertaker. And oh my goodness!
All kidding aside, this is an awesome looking mask. However, my one little knock on it would be that it kind of looks like a troll doll, if you know what I mean. But where I think this mask looks the absolute best is in the middle of the movie when he's slaughtering Kara's brother, his girlfriend, and then stalks Kara herself. And then later on, all the stuff at Smith's Grove, especially the reshot stuff with a Michael Lerner. It's just a damn good mask in my opinion, and one that doesn't really get enough praise. But from here on out, there's really going to be less problems I have with these masks, so let the stroke fest begin. Coming in at number 4 is The Mask from Halloween 2018. The Mask from Halloween 2018 really did bring back that classic Myers look and feel from the original film. What I love about this mask are the efforts they went through to try and replicate the original mask as best they could. And while it's not exactly perfect, it's close enough. At least as close as any mask has been since the original. I just love the look of the aged and decayed mask in this one. It gives it an extra creep factor while also playing into Myers' age in this, because he's not the same age as he was in the original. He's like 60 something years old. But if I am going to nitpick it a little bit, latex wouldn't be that intact after 40 years stuffed in an evidence locker in a crusty old police station. I mean, here's a picture of what the original mask now looks like, and honestly, part of me wishes they would have used this as the template for the new mask, as I think it's honestly creepier. But no, I love this mask from 2018, and there's only a few that I would rank above it. Coming in at number 3 is The Mask from Halloween 2. Now, even though this is the same mask from the original movie, I am going to put it here in its own little separate spot because it does kind of look like a completely different mask. And that's mostly because 3 years had passed in between the filming of the original and this one, and the mask supposedly was stuffed in a box underneath Deborah Hill's bed. And we all know those old latex masks don't really hold up too well to being stored like that. So it's already going to look a little bit different. But on top of that, you have a completely different person as Michael Myers, this time played by Dick Warlock, whose head is not as narrow or as long as Nick Castle's. So that also alters the look of the mask from the way it looked in the original as well. But it is still a damn scary mask in this movie. Plus, I love the way this mask looks in certain scenes because of the lighting. Like when he's chasing Laurie through the basement of the hospital, or when he's chasing Laurie through the parking lot of the hospital. But where I think the mask looks the absolute best is in the scene where they kind of ripped off the original Halloween, where the mask slowly fades in from the darkness and he stabs the nurse with the hypodermic needle. It just looks amazing, and that's one of my favorite parts in that entire movie. But all that being said, this is still a terrific mask, and it plays extremely well in this movie, almost as good as the original. Coming in at number 2 is the original mask from the original Halloween. What is there to say? It's the OG, and it is perfection. And to think it's almost not the mask we got. It was originally intended to be this clown mask, and forgive me because I can't remember the name of the clown, but I think this could have been really creepy and scary in its own way. But using the Shatner mask was just serendipitous. Not only does it play well on camera because of the stark whiteness, which makes it visible in every scene, especially at night, but it's also the psychology behind the blank expression and the pitch black eyes that you can project whatever fear or evil you have onto that mask because it is just a blank slate.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
I think that's just a genius level concept to put into that mask, as well as genius level filmmaking to implement it so perfectly. And that's what I think makes it so viscerally terrifying. Well, that leaves one mask left, so coming in at number 1 is the mask from Halloween Kills. Now I know I just called the OG mask perfection and I put it at number 2. However, this mask from Halloween Kills takes that perfection and just tops it on a godlike tier for me. It was extremely difficult for me to put any mask over the original because that one is so iconic. However, I just love this mask. I love the damage coming from the aftermath of Halloween 18, with parts of it being melted and charred from the fire. Also the bullet wound from being shot in the face. Plus I love the way the mask plays on camera, especially at the very end. I mean, that final shot of Michael staring into the camera is just beautiful. In my opinion, which I know isn't much, it's a masterpiece that just barely tops the icon of the '78 Shatner mask. It is an absolute savage mask for a brutal and savage Myers in Halloween Kills, and that's why it's number 1 on this ranking. But that is it for this Michael Myers mask ranking. What are your guys' ranking of the Michael Myers masks? Which ones are your favorite? Which ones are your least favorite? Please post them below. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Adios. Now, GTFO! I kind of like all the masks, but there does kind of look like a troll doll. Troll. What are your guys'